Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Transformers third party review. Today I'm taking a look at the eagerly anticipated and highly awaited first release from the guys over at GigaPower. It is of course Guttur, which is part of their Gigasaur line, HQ-03, their take on Masterpiece Snarl. Now, please do bear in mind that it is a pre-production sample and some things are subject to change, but my first impressions of this figure are absolutely mind-blowing. I got him out of the package. I was like most people, I was somewhat skeptical. This is a brand new third party. This is their first offering to the Masterpiece table, and they have served up a banquet. He is outstanding. I opened the box, I picked him up, and I was first of all blown away at just the sheer heft of this figure. He is so weighty. There is so much weight there. And doesn't he look outstanding? Let's just take a 360-degree look at this guy to get him to take it all in. He looks incredible. I absolutely love this tail section that comes down. You've got these really nice high hind legs which really lifts this tail section up, almost seeming like to extend the tail, adds extra length to it and makes it appear that the body is somewhat shorter. I do love the proportions on this guy. I love these spines, how they go all the way up across the top of the body. They look really, really nice. I love how we've got this small nod here on the top of the arms, that really nice nod back to the G1 toy. It's refreshing to have a nice clean paint application as opposed to chrome. Now, everybody's going to be comparing these guys to the Fans toys, and I understand that Fans toys are already established, they've got a good place on the market, but I don't like their chrome. I own Scoria, I own Saw, and I prefer this guy. There we go, I've said it. It seems to be there's either you're in camp GigaPower or you're in camp Fans Toys. I don't know why we can't be in both camps. I mean, this is a fantastic looking figure. Can't we just admire it for being a good Masterpiece style figure? For those of you out there who have been following me on the TFW 2005 forums or have been watching as I post up the pictures on Facebook, you will notice there is a small imperfection on my version. Now again, this is a pre-production sample. This is by no means final. It has been brought up, and basically it's a sprue scar from where these are taken off the sprues. I was pre-warned that it may have some imperfections, and this will not be present on the final production samples. It is clearly noticeable. It's where it's come off and it hasn't been tidied and it's painted over. But again, this is not going to be present on the final. And yeah, basically that's the only imperfection this guy has. I've been looking around him. I've been trying to nitpick. I know I'm very, very forthcoming, and I'm very excitable, and I always try and find the positives in a toy, and it is hard for me to find negatives in a toy because I like toys. But obviously, this is clearly noticeable. There's no way of avoiding this, but it's not going to be present on the final production. Something else I'd like to bring up: the paint apps, as striking and as bold as they are, this is sprayed. You can't tell. I wasn't aware. It was just I was sent an email just informing this is actually a sprayed sample, and the final product's paint will be baked and should be extremely difficult to scratch. Let's take a look at articulation on this guy. The head does have some articulation. It does move left and right. The jaw, once you open that up, does drop down. If we take a closer look, we've got this really nice area inside the jaw there with these guns inside which do move up and down. The front legs can move all the way around, and they're on a ball joint there, so you can get some sprayed out motion there. You've got a bend a really nice bend as well on that leg there. You've got a pivot on the front which goes in that much and out that much. You've also got a bend on the toe, so you can get some really nice wide poses. Take a look at the hind legs. Again, they're on a ratchet and a swivel. You've got this section at the bottom here which can bend forwards and back, and again you've got the same pivot that you had with the front legs, and you've also got movement forwards and back and some movement on the toe. Coming around to the back here, you've got a swishing effect on the tail. It's not the hugest of movements, but it's enough to get some really good poses with this guy. Now, not only do we get an absolutely stunning dinosaur in this set, we also get a plethora of accessories. He comes with these absolutely awesome flame effect pieces that attach, slide on the bottom of his feet like flaming slippers. A wonderful leg-mounted rocket launcher which can rotate and move in and out. If this dino head isn't G1 enough for you, we can move the head down slightly and bring in a clear plastic neck brace which slides in behind the head, and bring in the clear plastic casing to give it that G1 look. Now, it also comes with a gun and a sword, but I'll touch on those accessories when we get to his bot mode. I mean, to be honest with you, I think I actually prefer this G1 style nod. The problem being it does now hinder the left and right motion. And I've also been advised they are still working on this mask as it is slightly loose to the touch, but that again is being rectified. Now, we've established that he is built extremely well and he looks fantastic, but I'm sure the question on everybody's lips is how does he look with those Fans Toys offerings? Let's take a look. Now, here they are all together. I really do prefer the GigaPower. As lovely as the chrome looks, it's not overly practical. I have to keep wiping it down every time I move them. That's not their fault. It's just because they released the chrome option first, and that's the one I went out and bought. They're now releasing the non-chrome version. I think the plastic, the colour of the grey, is it's darker, it works better, it brings out the highlights a lot more. It's just, this is a very dull, just a grey plastic. This is clearly a painted plastic and it does look a lot better. The actual shape of the bodies, I think Scoria is a great figure. There's no doubt there, it is a fantastic figure. It's just I don't like I blatantly see a baked potato when I look at Scoria. That's all I can see now. Since that was brought to my attention, that's all I can see. If you look at this guy, you don't see any particular food groups. Saw, I was a little underwhelmed with. I saw lots of reviews. I saw Optobotomus's review. I saw Pure's review. And he looked great, but in hand, I was really underwhelmed. He was just a bit bland. It's quite boxy. And there was just nothing to him. And then I saw some of the teased pictures, some of the drawn sketches for the GigaPower one. I thought, if he came out, I would buy him. I would buy him and sell Saw in an instant. That was, of course, without me even having this guy in hand. And I really am glad that they've delivered a fantastic product to such a high standard that, to be honest with you, I think this is a gift to the Transformers fandom. It now gives us an option and a choice as to which Dinobots we want to collect. I mean, why not chop and choose? I mean, they all look absolutely fantastic together. I feel sorry for the Takara Hasbro style Grimlock. These guys are putting so much effort and work into their masterpiece figures that he is kind of looking a little bit outdated and in need of a re-envision. Let's see what these third parties can do with the Grimlock, shall we? Now, I know there's a load of weight junkies out there keen to see how much this guy actually weighs in comparison to Scoria, so let's take a look. Scoria himself is a big chap. He weighs in at a whopping 881 grams. That's approximately 1.94 pounds. Bringing in Guttur, he weighs 1,026 grams, which is a whopping 2.26 pounds. Just bringing in Saw on his flight stand, so all of the weight is on the pad. He's weighing in at 878, which is 1.93 pounds. Now, although Guttur is actually heavier than both of the Fun's Toys dinos, he doesn't actually feel it in hand. I think his weight is better dispersed. I just think he feels light as a hand, but putting him on the scales, he is clearly heavier. Still not as heavy as Magnus, though, who weighs 1,050 grams, which is approximately 2.31 pounds. Whew! Now, it's not just my other dinos that I wanted him to scale with. I wanted him to scale with the rest of the Masterpiece line. And looking at him with Wheeljack, I think that's clearly apparent. I think they've got a very good scale there, and he works extremely well, both aesthetically and size. Right. Let's get to the fun part. Let's transform him into his glorious bot mode. I mean, I've always told myself that my Masterpiece collection, I'm going to display everything in bot mode, all bar the dinos. I like to have the dinos displayed as dino bots. But this guy may change things. As much as I think his Stegosaurus alt mode is glorious, I think I prefer the bot mode. It is a really, really good looking bot mode, and I just love playing with this guy. Anyway, let's get him transformed. First step, grab these legs here. You want to bend them up, and they are going to fold into this gap on here. So just fold it up, fold that down, slide that section in, and just make sure that's fully pushed in. Our next step is to split this entire section here. Now, it's very, very tight, and all of the plugs on the inside are nice and tightly fitting, although that does then become a bit of a problem when we're trying to transform it. I found the best way to do this is to grab the two sections here, which are going to form the feet, and to pull those apart, because they are made of die cast, and it then allows you to maneuver the rest of this guy apart. Coming underneath, you can see that this is starting to untab. And then when you get to the head, it's just tabbed in across the neckline. You can pull that section apart. And now it's split across. And now that we've opened up this top section here, you're going to want to grab these legs and just pull this out. And you can see there's this hinge under here. Once you pull this, it then rotates. And you can just pop that back in to that groove there. You've now relocated this leg section. This also gives us enough room to pull this entire leg section out. We're going to get that clear. Get the headpiece, pull it towards you. This whole section here is going to move. First of all, that gives us enough room to then swivel it on the actual thigh. So you've got what is apparently going to become a leg. And with this on a side-on profile, pull this section up. We're going to rotate this whole section around like so, and then bend this section here back on itself, and there's a tab just here that's going to tab in on top of the remaining leg section, and the head's just going to sit in here. That's the entire leg section here done. Come round to the foot. This section here is now going to come forwards and then rotate round again. You've then got this cap section here. Flip that up, and there's a tab just hidden inside there. Just flick that out. Need nails, which I don't have. There we go. Flick that out, pull that forward, and that's going to lock into place on the toe. That locks in. You can then close this section back off. Your next step, just lift up the skirts around the thighs to give you a little bit more room. I'll lift up the thighs and then rotate them around like so, then bring them back down. So do the same with this side. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Bring this up, rotate it around on that ball joint, make sure you're clear of all the crotch section, and then bring that back down. You can then bring these skirts back down. And you want to grab your torso and your waist and just rotate it. It's a really nice tight waist joint. Turn it around. There we go. Round we come. There, like so. Let's revisit these arms. You want to just grab this section here, pull it down and extend it, exposing the joint. Flip open this front section, and again the back section, like so. Folding the toes in, we can then rotate this section around, and as we rotate that inwards, we reveal a fist. Bring the fist round, and then close these sections back off. There's a tab here which tabs into the back of the fist, and again on the front, pull that in and tab that in, just line it up. There we go, that's tabbed in. And just make sure that this section here is secured and in place on the chest. Come around to the tail spikes, just get your fingers in there, and you want to pull these sections apart. They're tabbed in securely. But again, this is a really strong plastic. Pull that apart, pull that section apart, move these out of the way to the side. You then want to grab this section here, just wiggle it out, and that untabs, lifts up. It's on this die cast hinge. Rotate it up and around, which brings it down to the back of the body like so. You can then come round to the front, flip this front section down, and we can bring up the head like so, and then bring this chest plate back in like that. And there we have him in his robot mode. I mean, do you see what I mean? He is so daunting, and he's such a dramatic figure. He's got that kind of evil good guy look to him. He is outstanding. Just taking a closer look at him, he looks incredible. There's so much character and expression there. I think that's what's been lacking from some of the other third-party companies, just the expression and being alive. Those heads that come with this guy, I mean, that's a Snarl from Snarl there. Now, we do have an alternative head. Just this one here. Now, the head itself is just on a ball joint, so it can just be unpegged. Like so. Pop that up and place the new head on. There we go, we're on. That's a much more child-friendly face there, isn't it? I think I prefer the snarling Snarl. But that being said, what an incredible sculpt. That's a fantastic face. I really like the detailing on this guy. You've got all this circuitry underneath this clear section here. Again, a really nice nod to the original G1 toy. One thing that kind of caught me off guard when I first transformed this guy was how hidden all of this black waist section is when he's in his dino mode. In his dino, he is just that grey and gold and red. And then suddenly when we transform him, we're granted with this really nice kind of matte black, which really does break up all of that grey. Now, if the detailing on the chest isn't enough for you, we also have these hinged out sections which can reveal some really glorious circuitry. Let's take a look at the articulation on Guttur. The head does move up slightly and down slightly. It's a very, very minimalistic movement because the ball on the actual head is very, very small. If they do change anything else for the final release, I would like a slightly larger neck piece just so you can get a little bit more range of movement on that head. I mean, it's minimalistic, but it does move. Left and right is no problem whatsoever. Loads of range there. The shoulders, they're on this really nice outward hinge, as well as a ratchet rotation. We've got an upper bicep swivel. We've got a really nice deep ratchet on the elbow. The hands are on a rotation, and the fingers themselves are individually articulated, although they are pinned through this point here, so they can't spread. But the this hinge here, it's not loose at all. I don't know what it is. It almost feels sprung. So you flick it down, and then it springs back when you flick it up. I initially thought that these were loose fingers, but they're not. They definitely feel sprung. And of course we have a thumb joint as well. Come down to the waist. We've got that rotation at the waist. Again, it's a tight joint. Doesn't appear to be any paint flaking around that area, which is always a good thing, right? You don't have any crunch on the abs. You do have these movable skirts on the groin section, which allow for a fantastic range of motion. The legs can go forward this much. They can go back this much. They can go out for full-on Van Damme splits. They can also rotate at the thigh. We've got a deep bend at the knee. It does stop before you get to the head section so as not to damage the nose. Again, really nice clicking ratchets there. And we do have a foot pivot. This section here is fixed, but the actual feet that you sit on, that is actually on a pivot, so you can rotate that down so you can get a really nice slant on his stance. And he also comes with a trusty clear clip which plugs into his back, which allows us to store this fantastic flame glowing red neon sword thing. And it's at a really good angle so he can actually reach over with his own arms and hold his own sword, drawing it from his backpack. And here he is yielding his sword and gun. I love the weapons for this guy. He's a big, beefy, chunky monkey, and he's got a huge rifle and a massive sword to go to boot. I just wanted to give you a 360 view of this guy. I think he looks fantastic. Some people are going to complain about the openness of the legs. Grimlock was the same. Scoria was pretty much the same. I think it's just one of those things that we're going to have to deal with for a bot of this size and magnitude. And I mean, he looks incredible, doesn't he? Just looking at the sword on this guy, it's really, really big. It's a gorgeous dynamic. Fits really well in his hand. It's not loose at all. It's not going to go anywhere. The fingers grasp it really, really well. Now, it does take batteries. Now, you have to order these batteries in... well, I've had to in the UK. I've visited all my local stores and none of them stock them. It is the AG4, which is also known as the LR626 or the 377 or the SR626606. They're watch batteries, and unfortunately I've visited all of my local supermarkets, all of my local DIY stores, and they only seem to stock the LG 44s, I think, which are way too big. Each weapon takes 2 of these batteries, and it should make the LED in the sword light up and the LEDs in the gun light up. It's just a shame that I couldn't get them. I've mail ordered them in. I've gone to Amazon. I mean, they're dirt cheap. I've got 20 coming for $2, which I mean, that's nothing, is it? It's just frustrating that there wasn't any local to me. Another thing I've been told about the sword on this figure, this red actual blade on here, at the moment I believe it's glued because it's the prototype. You can just see the glue smearing on the inside there. Now that's not going to be the case with the final product because they're actually putting the plastic together with ultrasonic welding. That sounds like something Doctor Who would do, but I've looked into it and basically it joins them together with a perfectly clear join. Now, of course, if you're not happy with the weapons that we've got, we can, of course, go all Super Saiyan with Flame On. There we go. Doesn't that look better? Now, if that doesn't look amazing, I don't know what does. I absolutely love these accessories. I can liken them very much to the accessories that you got with some of the Marvel Legends. They feel very much that same sort of rubbery plastic texture. This especially is very much like the Marvel Unleashed Iron Man. He'd like those jet thrusters. But that looks fantastic. I imagine it's going to look even nicer with those LEDs lit up. Oh, I wish I could have ordered those batteries in sooner. Oh, kicking myself. I just assumed they'd be in my local store, but they weren't. And this is why I love that angry face. What better way to have Snarl positioned than with a big flaming sword, a fiery gun, and a proper menacing grin. Here they are all together, and don't they look impressive? I mean, even Grimlock with his platform shoes. Snarl just seems to stand out from the rest. He just seems to be that much more detailed. He has more character. I think that's what it is. I think it's the character. They've captured character with this guy. I think that's what I like so much. And I just need to clear up something as well. I was discussing with somebody on my Facebook page about the weight of the legs on Snarl as opposed to with Scoria. Basically, I've said the weight on these legs, I think it's more evenly distributed and the joints are tighter. I was having a discussion, they were saying the feet were not too heavy on Scoria. See, I beg to differ. You know, that's not good for any joint. That indicates to me that the joints are too loose or the legs are too heavy. Whereas you take Guttur, move his hip joint up so we can get a full range. See, I just think it's more evenly distributed. Not that there's anything wrong with Scoria. I know once you've done the leg fixers and the shoulder fixers, that he's a fairly good character and he's a good figure. But should we really be having to fix these figures? And here he is with some of his other masterpiece comrades. I think he scales really, really well. A lot of people are judging the scale. They're going by the Takara drawn scale, where they have all the figures drawn and Optimus Prime. They all base it on around the Optimus Prime height. Now, it's all very well, but I think Takara, if you look into it, have actually changed this scale already with the release of Ultra Magnus, because Ultra Magnus should actually, according to the scale, be slightly bigger. GigaPower have gone for the cartoon accurate scale, where he does actually tower over Prime. I think the scale works. I know it's not going to be to everybody's taste. Some people are going to be saying he's too small. Some people are going to be saying he's too big. I think it works really, really well. I think he looks great, and he really does look the part. He is truly a masterpiece figure. So there we have it, guys. That's the first look at the GigaPower Guttur, their masterpiece Snarl. In my opinion, it's a very, very good figure. It's an amazing first figure for a company that was otherwise unknown and unheard of. They've done an outstanding job. I had my fears and reservations, and I'm glad they've put all of those to rest. It's honestly easily on par with the likes of Fans Toys. The plastic quality is incredible. You can tell there's a lot of time and effort gone into the planning and production of these figures. And please bear in mind, this is actually a pre-production sample, so the final figure is going to be even better. If you've liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up, rate and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comments section below. And if you do subscribe or you are currently a subscriber, don't forget that I've got a competition running at the moment. It's a giveaway which gives you the chance to win a Masterpiece Optimus Prime or a Masterpiece Sunstorm. Just click on the link just down here. Until next time, guys, from myself and the almighty GigaPower Guttur, goodbye.